Okay, folks. So, it's recording, is it? Let's close this down. There we go. Okay, so it's recording now, people. Okay, so the purpose of this is to go through how you should revise these quotes to commit them to memory in a certain way. This does not replace the reading the text, the watching the play, and it does not replace using those online quizzes that I've shown to you as well. So this quotation is from Abigail, and she's talking to John Proctor. This is after the start of the play, and it's the first time that they see each other in the course of the play. The context is that she is questioning John, and it's a passionate, almost romantic scene to the audience as they first see. I looked for John Proctor that took me from my sleep and put knowledge in my heart. I never knew what pretense Salem was. I never knew the lying lessons I was taught by all these Christian women and their commentated men. And now you bid me tear the light out of my eyes? I will not. I cannot. You loved me, John Proctor, and whatever sin it is, you love me yet. Lots of meaning there, lots of deep biblical language. So we can see that she's attacking John for his behavior after what seemed to be a genuine love relationship, at least in her eyes. So once you know the context, and you can do that just in your mind, we then see, secondly, what keywords would you want to analyze? Okay, what keywords would you want to analyze? In this one, I've put the idea of took me from my sleep. Put knowledge in your heart. That's an interesting metaphor there, I think. Lying lessons is a very, again, interesting phrase. Has alliteration there as well. The Christian woman and their covenanted men. Tear the light out of my eyes. Now, I think that's very interesting language there, tear the light, because this aggressive biblical imagery and this aggressive biblical language is used frequently throughout the play, and therefore any analysis of that language allows you to mention that this is the style of language throughout the play, giving you the extra expert marks. Loved is important. This wasn't affectionate. In Abigail's eyes, this was true. And then lastly, again, this idea of you love me yet, this repetition of love is important in itself. So those are some words that I would look to analyze. Now, of course, in the course of the exam, you can't analyze all of those, but for an A-star student, they would certainly be looking to have multiple short quotations as well. Okay. What would be the dominant phrase there that you would maybe seek to analyze? What would be the dominant phrase that you would seek to analyze? Talk amongst yourselves for 10 seconds. Off you go. I'll give it. I've looked through there at the front, and it's not there. Then that's too late. Okay. There'll be one spare for you somewhere here.
Yeah, I think I must have given out Sunday.
Yeah. It'll be through. It'll be somewhere for you. Maybe in this one. And 3, 2. It's definitely there, don't worry. It's definitely there. And 1. Matthew's table. What would be the dominant productive quotation for you?
I thought that took me and put knowledge would be quite interesting, although I think lying lessons as well, that kind of the interesting use.
Yeah, Matthew, fantastic. I think the took and put are interesting verbs to analyze, I think, afterwards as the extra bit of analysis. The lying lessons, even because it's got alliteration inside there, is the most interesting one to start with, or rather the most useful one to start with. So although I find personally the took and the put more interesting, I want to start off with the lying lessons myself. Now then, how would you weave those words into a sweaty paragraph? And I'm going to do that now, just in front of you. No pressure. Okay. So, now with these quotations, there isn't a question that's going to be the initial statement part of it. So we think of either a theme or a character that's going to help us with this. So the general question here would be, how is the character of Abigail presented in the Crucible? Okay. So I'd write down Miller presents Abigail as a passionate, yet, oh, by the way, people, I'm really interested in this idea of having the qualifications. So think of two adjectives, but this yet this. This but this. So passionate yet manipulative. This part, you can write it down, or this, I think so, only because writing it down, it helps you understand it. The one thing about writing down what I type is I type at 75 words a minute, so therefore it's not possible to type it quite as fast as I do. But this one is just the weave, not the analysis. So, Millie presents Abigail as a passionate yet manipulative character when she first meets Proctor in the play. Okay, full stop. We then want to weave in, I think I misspelled that, yeah, put ER on OR. We then put in the first quotation of the lying lessons. So first of all, we make sure it's the OR, not the typo. Okay. What kind of alliteration is lying lessons? What kind of alliteration or image is lying lessons? Okay. Uneasy alliteration. Now, uneasy is a bit of a cheat one, really. It's like the uncomfortable alliteration. It's one that you can use when you can't think of one more precise for this. The uneasy alliteration in the... Now, we need to contextualize lying lessons. In the lying lessons, that she bemoans the other Christian women as living. So the uneasy alliteration in the lying lessons that she bemoans the other Christian woman as living. It's a bit confused, but it's kind of getting there. So the uneasy alliteration in the lying lessons that she bemoans the other Christian woman as living. What's a discourse marker that we can use? Good, demonstrates. Nice and neutral. Demonstrates how she criticizes others in order to make... Now, don't just say to make herself looks good. What's she trying to do here? In order to make herself, make herself look what to John? Look mature and attractive to John. Good. So initially, I thought just say make herself look better, but then I think that one is going to be a bit more precise. Okay, people. So I've not only put the weave in that quote by contextualizing it, but I've actually started my analysis there as well. Okay. You wouldn't, if you just want to weave in there, you could put a full stop in, but we're going for raise A stars, so we can start off with a bit of analysis there as well. Now, don't worry if you've not got all of that down yet. You can see this on the video later. I'll come back to this. Just going back to this there, don't worry, my class. The final layer of analysis is this. How would you analyze these keywords? So, we've already got the idea of alliteration. This word dogmatic is a word that you can almost certainly use in your exam. Dogmatic means that you are fundamentalist about something, a belief. You are very firm in your belief and you refuse to go against it. That's what dogmatic means. It is used in terms of religious beliefs, but it can be used here in terms of her belief that her and John should be together. This shows that it is an authoritative society. It's a society that survives by having no questioning of its values and judgments. An important piece of context to say to you that would be useful for you to remember is that in real life, in colonial America, the societies that were more liberal than Salem would often fail because they wouldn't be able to make those difficult decisions on actual survival. So actually there's a positive way to having this repressed society. It's not all bad and liberal. It's pious as well. And again, this idea of teaching immorality in terms of the word put. So that, again, like Matthew said, will be our extra bit of analysis. So just to go back to here, my class, and you can try and keep up, or you can just see how it goes. We could say here, this dogmatic, this, I've already put criticism here. This attack on the dogmatic piousness, or piety, of the Salem Society by Abigail. Let's just zoom down here for you, my class. This attack on the dogmatic piety of Salem Society by Abigail serves as a wider criticism of authoritarian society. Okay. There is the notion that to be repressed leads to evil acts occurring. Full stop. Then I think I want to link this to the shorter sense elsewhere, or I'm thinking maybe I want to make a mention about the fact that actually contextually societies that were liberal were more likely to fail in colonial America. So I might then say... go, Andrews, that's a fantastic thing that you just said then. In terms of the context, there's no direct marks. However, you do get marks for alternative interpretation. And often saying how that might link to context helps with alternative interpretation. So the marks are led by the alternative interpretation, Andreas, not by the context. Spot on. You're now an internet star. Okay. To those who know that liberal colonial populations were, to those who know that liberal colonial populations were more likely to fail, this reading of Abigail would seem less manic and unreasonable than it might do to someone who finds her over emotional. Okay. Now I want us to look at the put. Let me say again. Okay, I'll scroll up for a few seconds. I'll make it smaller for you in my class, and then we'll go up to there. Okay. Then I want to think about the put and the took. I could do that in one sentence. Okay, I could do that in one sentence. For this one, rather than just saying, I'm going to add this idea, I want again to contrast it with however, or despite this. Okay, or maybe to say this is enhanced. This reading of Abigail having some justification is emphasized or is enhanced by her choice of unusual metaphorical verbs, put and took, which both suggest that John is responsible for her. I would put unease. What's John responsible for, would you say? Her hysteria? Her what? Maybe her obsession. Okay, folks. So that is the ideal about what you do to put the quotation inside your head. The quotation lying lesson, put and took, should then be absolutely embossed into your memory. Okay, folks. So just to show you then, so this is the task, my class. You want to keywords, weave, and then analyze. And that's what you do at home. Guys, say bye.